Welcome to A Bit of Insight, where we explore how to live well, travel far, and inspire others along the way. I'm your host, Lisa Mosbey, and if you're ready to design a life you don't need a vacation from, you're in the right place. What if reinvention is not starting over, but finally using everything you have lived through? Welcome to A Bit of Insight. I'm Lisa Mosby, your host, and today we're talking about reinvention. You know, the kind that happens when life stretches you, challenges you, maybe moves you, and eventually shows you, hey, this is what you're made of. My guest
Mhm.
today is Stephanie Cologne, and we are both part of the Morning Rush empowerment community, and that's how we met. But we also share a connection to Las Vegas. I lived there for 15 years, and Stephanie recently caught my attention when she attended EDC in Las Vegas with her husband and daughter. So that's a fun fact. But what we're really intrigued about today, or what really intrigued me, is the bigger story, how Stephanie has taken 25 years of banking. I'm going to start this whole thing over.
Okay.
I'm going to go back from
And
when I screwed up your name. I was like, I didn't confirm how I say your name. All right,
well,
here we
you are
go.
fine. But if you want a picture too of EDC to pop up in your video, you're
Oh,
welcome. I can send you one of like all of us together, like at EDC. I don't know, because like when I do video, I can pop it up in my do overlay and pop it up. So I'm
I
not
don't
sure if
know
you
what
can
my
see it.
VA can do. So I'll have, yeah, I'm not sure if she knows how to do that or not, but
Yeah.
we'll maybe. So I'm going to just start from my guest. Mila, this is for you. We're starting over from here and we're not going to have any more edits, I promise. Here we go. My guest, Stephanie Cologne, and I are both part of the Morning Rush empowerment community, and we also share a connection to Las Vegas. I lived there for 15 years, and Stephanie recently caught my attention when she attended EDC in Las Vegas with her husband and daughter. That's a fun fact, but what really intrigued me is the bigger story, how Stephanie has taken 25 years in banking, 29 years as a military wife, along with her personal challenges, leadership lessons, plus bold life experiences, and turn them into wisdom that she now uses to help grow others. Stephanie, welcome. Thanks for joining me on A Bit of Insight today.
Thank you, Lisa. I'm honored to be here.
Of course, I have to start with Las Vegas. I must start with Las Vegas. You went to EDC. I know
Mhm.
you went with your daughter if she had invited you. What surprised you most about that experience?
I think it was that everybody was just so nice. Not that people aren't nice, but when you're in a crowd of like 500,000 people in a secluded, space, even if they bump into you, it's, like, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean, like they're just very
Yeah.
kind. It actually reminded me of my travels to Japan, but we can talk about that in a moment. Very similar mindset and behaviors were exhibited in both places. So, because it can get really crowded in while you're traveling on their public transit. So anyway, but it was really great. Everybody was really nice. I was dreading it, and I thought that I was going to have an awful time because I wasn't sure also of the exact music, the way it was going to
Oh, yeah.
sound, and it was better than I expected. I really had a great time.
Yeah.
So, we
It's
lasted 3
grown
days.
so much. Yeah, I lived there in 99 from 99 to 2013, and it was still small. It's unbelievable when I was watching your Facebook posts and your social media posts, folks. You got to check it out if you're into that at all. It was amazing what it has grown into. One of the things I love about your story is your bold moves. How does saying yes to these unexpected experiences keep you curious and alive?
I think I'm just not afraid to do anything. I mean, I really am
Oh,
not. I don't get scared to try something new because why not? If you don't try it, you're taking a bigger risk of not ever knowing that you could have done it or survived it or whatever. Sometimes my risks are climbing down lava tubes. I don't know, and on a very thin rope and a very thin levee system. So, I mean, and that has happened in foreign countries actually. So, I just believe in just trying stuff. Like I don't know. I'm not afraid.
I know. I'm not afraid. I don't see myself as afraid. People say, "Oh, you're so fearless. You travel alone, blah, blah, blah." But I don't have what you got, girl. And that's why I was so intrigued by so many of the stories you shared with me through the Morning Rush experience. By the way, that's open to anybody who wants to attend. It's for busy executives who just need some support. So we'll plug the morning rush real quick. Let
Yeah.
me ask you, what do you think people miss when they stop trying new things?
Oh, just excitement, heart racing, thrill, experience, making memories. For me, my husband and I live by this motto: you can always make more money, but you can't always make more memories.
I
And
totally say that all the time. I did not know that about you. Oh my.
yes, I actually have a whole plaque in our house that says that right on our travel wall. We have a whole wall of all kinds of different places we've been, and we have pins and a map and all that kind of stuff, colored pins for every family member, so we can all see where we've all been, with each other or without each other or whatever, because we have a big family. So I mean, we just live by that. Like, we'll
Yeah,
figure it out. We'll make more money. Like, let's go do the thing. And I don't know. I'm not afraid to try something new ever.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to eat a cockroach or some crap like that, but I mean, because that's gross. I do have some standards, but I'm not afraid to do other.
Apparently I don't.
Oh, you eat
Crickets,
cockroach?
cockroaches, yeah, weird
Oh,
things. Yeah, when you go to foreign countries, what was it? Was it guinea pig? I think it was guinea pigs. Yeah, I went to this guinea pig farm and I had seen a shaman, and the shaman said, you need to eat guinea pig because some medical stuff. And they picked up on it. I never said a word because I didn't even speak what they spoke. I had a translator. So they said, you need to eat
wow.
guinea pig. So I went to a guinea pig farm and they're all running around, and then they have them hanging where they had cooked them. And it was the freakiest thing. That one just threw me for a loop because you see them living and you see them, now being served as dinner. That one was a tough one for me, but anyway, on to
I've
the
experienced
next.
that one, and I don't think my
Yeah.
husband has either. And he's had some really wild things as well, but not
Yeah.
guinea pig. Thank you for sharing
Yeah.
that.
Oh, my pleasure. Yeah. Would
Fun
you
fact
say
about
that,
you.
yeah, would you say that your willingness to change has changed, or willingness to say yes has changed over the years?
Um,
Were you always
I,
fearless?
yeah, I mean, I think I'm more fearless now than I was when I was younger.
For sure. Me too.
If that makes sense. I feel like I'm like, okay, well, I'm 49, so I want to do these things, and why be afraid about it? Like, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm just, I think it's changed in a positive way where I'm not afraid to do things. Like, I'm just like, yes,
Many people
screw it, let's do it.
Yeah, many people are more fearless when they're younger. In your 20s and 30s, you think you're
Sure.
invincible. But I'm
Hmm.
meeting more and more women, who are in their 40s, 50s, and beyond they've stepped into this wisdom, this fearlessness, this edginess that I don't remember from other women mentors growing up. I saw it happen the opposite, where they were more fearless when they were younger and more cautious when they got older. But there's a group of us out here that are doing it in reverse. Another question that I kind of wonder with you, I mean, I've had that thought, never said it out loud, but you've been a military wife for 29 years. You've traveled extensively. What
Yeah.
did military life teach you about adapting, starting over, and constantly reinventing yourself with new friends?
Yeah. So, well, to be honest, as a military wife, I haven't had to move in any of that. Now, I've
Oh,
traveled a lot because my husband had to go and do things. He has
yeah,
gone and been on deployments for long periods of time. And certain deployments I'm clearly not able to go on, but others I have been. But we've
yeah.
always had like our home base here. So, I could tell you what some of the struggles are when
Mhm.
living in a community like Lakeland. So, Tampa McDill is where base is. Okay, they have their community there, everybody is within that community, understanding, going through the struggles. Living in an outside community where Lakeland is fantastic and willing to support our military beyond anyone's expectation, we have a huge support, and I'm involved with those organizations here, like the veterans councils and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm very familiar with all of that. However, and I only recently got involved with them. I wasn't when I was younger because I was growing my career and everything and didn't really have time for it. But in those younger years, when he was deployed like often, like every few years, it was rather challenging being a military spouse here. People do not understand in this community what I was going through. They don't be, not that they're not supportive. So I just want to make
Yeah.
sure that's clear. We have a great community, but they did not understand what it really feels like to take care of 4 kids, to have a full career, to try to be active and social yourself, to take care of their sports, the kids' sports activities, that kind of thing. So I was doing a lot on my own. And I did well, and I'm also a little stubborn and didn't ask for help at the time. I'm still kind of like that, but I'm getting better at asking for help. Because of course we're women and we can do it all, right? Like we're just like societally conditioned to handle it all and suck it up and push through, right? Well, so for me, because I had different connections or a lot of connections, I did get certain support, right? But I like to work with women in our community who don't have those connections and help be that support to them. So I know I kind of went off on a tangent a little bit on that side, but I just think that when you don't live on base, you are not going to experience a true military life. This is a totally different experience. Yeah, I'm not ingrained in the military base life. I'm on the outskirts of it. So, and it is a totally different lifestyle. I'm a civilian, I'm doing my thing, I'm moving my life forward, career, kids, all of that stuff. And with support from people. There have been times when people would say, "Oh, but you're used to deployments." And I get so mad. I mean, honestly, I don't act mad. I'm just like, sure. But the truth is, it like, I only get mad or upset about it is because I know I'm never ever used to a deployment. I don't want to live alone. I don't want to be by myself, especially now my kids are grown and moved out. So I am alone. I have a dog. It's me and the dog. And when he's not here, and it's like the hardest damn thing in the world. And any military spouse will tell you that. We handle everything. And my husband will tell you too, because he has said it numerous times, that I'm his hero because I manage our house, the lawn, the pool, the cars, this, that, all the things. The checklist, when you have a partner here with you every day, can help you deal with stuff. Groceries, eating, cooking, laundry, for crying out. I mean, just the simplest things, right? So I don't like deployments at all. I'm never used to them. And I hope that if anybody is out there, if they know of multiple deployment spouses, that they never say that. Just say, how can I best support you?
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, sometimes we don't know what to say. So that's great advice.
Oh.
There was a turning point through after the personal experience that you've gone through, the struggles, being alone, oftentimes raising those 4 kids. When was the point where you realized that your story could help someone else because you've moved into coaching and mentoring with all of that behind you? When did that happen, and how did that shift?
Well, I feel like I've always kind of been that person, but I was always in the banking career. And as I transitioned out, I realized, okay, well, honestly, let me go back. I apologize. Back in 2012, I wanted to create a group. Again, my husband was on deployment. I don't know why I want to create a group when my husband's on deployment, but in banking, I kept hearing the same conversations over and over again from women in that industry. And they weren't great conversations. It was stigmas, it was, competition mindsets, all of that kind of stuff around these, with these women. And I started to feverishly collect business cards. And I was like, I'm going to create a support group and we're going to meet and just talk through these issues, almost like mastermind. But it wasn't called mastermind in 2012 because that word wasn't a thing, at least not to my knowledge, right?
Sure.
But I really wanted to create that so we could come together and just start having these conversations. But my goal was always to have some sort of lasting impact with people, right? Like, how can I encourage? How can I be, a positive mentor for others? That's always kind of been my mantra. Like, maybe it's not something I've ever really talked about a lot through my banking career, but I just kind of acted on that always. Like, okay, how can I be encouraging? How can I be a positive role model for others? So I've just taken all of that, everything that I've ever done, everything that I've ever learned, everything that I've learned not to do. And now I do all of this. I created all of these modules on training and coaching and communication and how to best work with people in the workplace. Also, in any environment, to be honest with you, because communicating well with others is really going to take you a lot further than not communicating well, right? And we can't help how we communicate. I feel like we are also conditioned to communicate in the way that we grew up. right? Like if you're always hearing the language, here's an example. If you're always hearing the language, we're broke, we're broke, we're broke, your mindset is always going to be around, we're broke, we're broke, we're broke. I see it in my brother who I raised, who I never said we were broke, but our mom did. So,
Yeah.
when and now he says it as an adult, and I'm like, stop saying this, kid. So anyway, but if you don't change your language, if you don't change your words, you're not going to be able to communicate well. My brother is not broke, by the way, just for the record. But I think that we're societally conditioned. So your communication style is ingrained in you in the way that you grew up, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But knowing how to communicate with someone else's communication style and knowing how to positively approach something that may not be a positive situation can really take you a lot further. I mean, that could go all the way up to government, for crying out loud, but you know how that goes. There's ego.
We do.
Ego gets in the way.
We do. And
and
listening
messes
is
things
just
up.
as important as talking. It's
Mhm.
listening is just as important as the words because you're listening for cues from the other person.
Exactly.
We're talking about reinvention today, and when you hear the word reinvention as it pertains to you, what does that mean to you? It's a word that you used. I've heard you use it a number of times, and I'm curious, what does it mean to you?
Yeah. So, okay. So it's a mindset, right? Like I
Yeah,
was
absolutely.
25 years in the banking industry. I thought I was going to be a banker forever, and that's not the case. So it's like, okay, well, what am I going to do now? And you have to really know what you're good at and know your skill set. And and there was a time where I was like, I don't even know what I can do. I don't know, like literally had those pitiful moments and but changed it. And I'm like, no, no, no. I'm actually a lot smarter than I think, and I'm able and capable of doing a whole lot more than what I did just in banking. And now reinvention for me is like I can do anything. And there are no rules, and everything is made up, and I can create my own stuff. So that's why I create my training modules. I do research, and I have changed the way I think about how to be a leader or be a trainer. And that is reinvention to me. It's a mindset, like not allowing myself to have a limiting belief on who I am or what I can do, or having a title that holds me back.
So would you say that's a choice? Reinvention is a choice?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think about people who retire, right? So let's just say I retired from banking, if you will. People who retire sometimes, or like, I don't know if it's a myth or true or what, but they say like some people go home and they go home to retire. But when they go home, they don't do anything. And then they get on the couch and then they slowly die. So how do you reinvent yourself for that mindset, right? Like get involved and active in the things that you want to do and reinvent yourself and say, okay, yeah, I did that for 40 whatever years, whatever that career was, and now I get to do all these other things. And that's how they find that purpose again. So reinvention is also about purpose, right? And being fulfilled in your lifestyle and what you want to do for others, but it's always about giving your gift away too. There's
Mhm.
that is also part of the purpose, is giving your gift away.
What
So
would you say a bold move is for somebody who wants that right now, who wants that reinvention? What would a bold move be for them?
just do it. Like do the
Just do
thing.
it.
Just do the thing. Like don't be
Yeah.
so okay, I know that's so easily said because when I started doing women's conferences, I was afraid. Okay. I was afraid because here I was, this banker, this person in this community, this pillar. And then I'm now in this industry of what is she doing? Women's conferences, because that's kind of how everything started with me with my training modules.
Mhm.
And so I was afraid of what people would think. So I think that's part of the mindset, is stop worrying about what everybody else is going to say or think or about what you're doing. Your life is to live your life, not for other people. So you have to remember that and keep that at the forefront when you feel that fear of putting it out there, because everybody has that fear, and that's your vulnerability. Sorry. So most
Yeah.
people, they don't want to be vulnerable because our ego likes to keep us safe, and our limiting beliefs about us will keep us small. So don't do that. Don't allow your limiting beliefs to keep you small, and don't worry about your ego, because your ego doesn't know what's happened. It doesn't know what's going to happen. It's just trying to keep you
Mhm.
in that safe space all the time. And you can't allow that to happen. So just go do it. It's okay. And if you fail, that's okay too. Who cares? You can just figure it
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
It's great to
My
fail,
dad,
actually.
it
So,
is. It is.
mhm.
My dad always said, I never regretted the trips I took, only the ones I didn't. That was another one along with those. We can always make more money, but you only get so many memories before you're gone.
Yes.
Let's talk in practical first steps. I know as a travel advisor and as somebody who does companion traveling, taking people on a trip, I say book the trip. Like, let's create the itinerary, see what that looks like. How does that feel? Is that something you think you want to do? And like, if you don't want to go alone, who can go with you? There's people like me who do companion travel with other folks, or there's a group
Yeah.
of women that might want to go. Like those first steps in your world. You work with a lot of business women. What are those first steps? What's a first step? Maybe somebody who wants to shift careers, get out of corporate America, be your own boss, or somebody who is their own boss and their business is struggling. Give me some practical first steps that these ladies can take.
I would say, okay, aside from just do the thing, make sure you know what you want to do, because you can flounder for a little bit and not figuring it out. But I would also say take the time to figure out what you want to do. It's okay if you
Yeah.
don't know right away, but just work through it. Like I thought I would be doing a ton of these women's conferences for forever, but I don't. I now have narrowed it down and focus more on my corporate training, right? So if you decide to go in one direction, realize that you can also change and that you don't have to stay the course all the time. You can pivot and do other things as well. So don't be afraid to try new things, and don't be afraid to adjust as you go along the way, because the path is never straight. It's always going to be curvy. So I would say starting there, and then also make sure you're financially able to do those things, whatever they might be, because that can also make starting a business or going out and creating something new can be challenging, because it's always going to cost you money. So having some financial stability would obviously be another pointer. And be confident in who you are. You are when we don't feel like we're confident, or that we can do something, we will hold back. And that's not what we're meant to do. So we were meant to give everything we have to everything that we're doing and to others. And I would say don't be afraid, because if you hold back, you're stealing something from somebody else.
Mm.
So yeah, that's really how I feel about that. I think I've always wanted to kind of be this corporate trainer. I remember seeing people in my industry who were working at the banks being the trainer and teaching us all this stuff. And I used to be like, oh, I could totally do that. I mean, years ago, I remember having those
Yeah.
thoughts. Like, I could totally
Yeah.
do that. I'm a public speaker, and I remember seeing people on stage and being like, I could totally do that. So I get on stage and I talk to people. And, so I just don't limit yourself. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's another, just don't limit yourself. It's good
And if you're
advice for me too,
feeling
because
stuck,
yeah.
yeah. If someone's feeling stuck, there are people like you out there that can help them get unstuck. There are people that will walk through what those blocks are, those challenges are. We can invite folks in to help us. We have to not get stubborn, like you mentioned earlier, and ask for help, because there are so many people who have been there before us.
Yeah.
Here's where I want to wrap up. What's your next bold move? What's in the future for you? What's your next bold move?
Well, gosh, I don't know. I just take it day by day. But my goal will be to be, and I'm gonna say it here. I don't know where all this stuff gets published, but I've said it to people. It's like I want to be like Mel Robbins on stages like that.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm not afraid to be. So, and
Yeah.
I know her
Yeah.
path and I'm trying to follow it, because why reinvent it? So,
Yeah. So
yeah.
have you texted her, messaged her, reached out to her team, anything of that nature yet? Like that might be a bold move. How are you going to step
Yeah.
into that?
Oh, totally have. I actually have their emails. I saved them. Sorry, I'm off. Yeah. They've emailed me back. Yeah.
Wow.
With their words. And it's not because you always get the auto reply.
Yeah.
The team actually emailed me back twice. I invited her to
Wow.
I emailed them and invited her or any of her team members to our women's conference. They said they couldn't come. Okay, no problem. And they emailed me back and said whatever. And then I said, I wanted to say thank you for your encouragement from the last email. Here's the pictures of the whole crew that was there at the event, and thank you and blah blah blah. So they wrote me back, nice little
Oh
email. So I
my
keep it.
gosh.
Yep. Yeah, I'm not
You
scared.
do make the bold moves, girl. I didn't know you did that. That's
Oh yeah.
amazing.
Well, I was doing a contract job, real quick contract job with somebody, and I knew that John Travolta lives nearby. He lives in Ocala, or he has a house in Ocala. Let me just say it like that.
Okay.
And it's a plane, and the company or the organization I was working for is a pilot company and planes and all that stuff for kids. And so I was like, let me just reach out to them. Maybe they'll respond. They never did, but the answer is always no unless you try, or unless you ask. So it's always going to be like a no unless you. That's why I say just do the thing. Yeah, just do it.
Steve Jobs used to do that. He called I think it was the CEO of IBM and said, do you have, I know everything about you. And I think he said he was like 12 or 14 years old. I watched a video he had done about this. It's on YouTube. You guys can look it up if you want to. And he called and asked for extra parts because he was amazed at what they were doing. And he wanted to build something for computers. And the guy was so surprised that he called that he ended up giving him parts and then also giving him an internship. And it was kind of the launching of him getting into the tech field. And the world would not be the same without Steve Jobs doing what he did for both Apple and Pixar. So you're right. I'm learning something new today. You're never too old to learn a new trick. I need to be more bold when it comes to asking other leaders, people who have done better than me, how, for advice. It's never too late.
Yeah, and I think that they're flattered that someone would reach out. So think about like society as a whole. We would probably say, "Oh, they're too busy for us. They're never going to respond, so I'm not even going to try." Well, wrong. They responded. So, you just gotta try. Like, just because somebody like John never replied, his team didn't even reply. So what? I went to Mel Robbins because I love her stuff. And I'm like, okay. And I love her story. I love her like pitfall all the way to stardom and fame and the message that she delivers. And it sounds really familiar to me. So I just wanted to reach out to him. Like, we're in alignment. So why not? Yeah. Answer's always no unless you try.
Answer's always no unless you try. Stephanie, thank you so much. We're going to leave it there for today. Folks, Stephanie's story reminds us that reinvention is not always about becoming someone completely new. Sometimes it's about finally honoring everything you have already survived, already learned, and already built. Just take the next bold step. From banking to bold moves, from military life to business strategy, from Las Vegas experiences to the morning rush community. Stephanie reminds us that our lives are not wasted when we turn our lessons into wisdom. And that resonates with what we believe here at A Bit of Insight. So thank you so much for joining us today. Until next time, live well, travel far, inspire people along the way, and keep making bold moves. We'll see you next time on my Bit of Insight. Thanks for joining me on A Bit of Insight. To get more involved with our wellness community, grab a copy of my book, Live Well, Travel Far, or to explore our travel offerings, visit the website at insightcenterforwellness.com. And if today's episode gave you something to think about, leave a review and please share it with a friend. This is Lisa Mosbey reminding you to live well, travel far, and always follow your insight.